So we're going to put this quadratic into vertex form. So our first step is to do what? Factorize out the 2. So I've got x squared minus, Jesse? Yep, plus 2. Okay. 2 times 3 over 2 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, our next step then is to do what? Yes. Add what? Half of 3 over 2. What's half of 3 over 2? Good. 3 over 4. Add it on and then subtract it off. Right. Then the first 3 terms combine to give, yes, yes, yep, good, yes, okay, and why is it negative? Because, yeah, because this is negative, okay, good. Then I've got subtract 9 over 16, and let's make this so it's over 16 as well. So what number has to go on top to make it, what over 16 equals 2? 32. 32 over 16 is 2. So I get x minus 3 over 4. Minus 9 plus 32. (23). And then, to finish it off, you're chatty today, aren't you? What do we do next? Yeah, you just multiply out. So I get 2 multiplied by all of this stuff. And then 2 multiplied by this. What's 2 multiplied by 23 over 16? Yeah, but remember, if I'm doing 2 multiplied by 23 over 16, what happens to, how many 2's are there in 16? Yep, so that goes with 8 of those. So doing it like that automatically simplifies it for you. Okay? So it is equal to 2 bracket x minus 3 over 4 squared plus 23 over 8. Now, all right, now the whole point of putting it in vertex form is because it gives us what the vertex is, okay? So in order to determine what the vertex is when it is in this form, we take this number, okay? We change whatever sign it is. So currently it is negative, so I'm going to change it to positive. We take this number and we leave alone, we get 23 over 8. And that gives us our vertex. It's okay. Alright, so you change the sign of this one, keep this one the same, okay? And it gives us what the vertex is. What is the vertex again? Like, what actually is it? Yeah, it's the lowest point or the maximum or minimum point. Is this a smiley parabola or a sad parabola? Because both don't have to be positive as long as the number in front of the x squared is positive. Okay, so this is a smiley face, and this is telling us that the vertex down here is 3/4 and 23 over 8. Okay, so putting it in vertex form is very, very, very useful. Okay. What is the formula for working out the vertex? Who can remember? X equals negative b over 2a. Okay, let's check it. Okay, so what's b in our equation at the start? Negative 3, so I've got negative 3. What's a? A is 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. So that gives us 3/4, which is what we would expect. Okay? Easy enough? Okay, so if we've got a quadratic, let's keep it nice and easy. All right, so what are the roots again? Yep, they're, well, yeah, and what are they?
Y is zero.
Yep.
And it's what axis?
Yes, good. It's where it crosses the x-axis. Okay. So if you had to solve this, if you had to solve this, what would you do? What's one method you could use? You could use the quadratic formula. You could factorize it if you could, but you can also now solve it by completing the square. Okay, or putting it in vertex form. So I want you to do that for me now. Put that into vertex form for me. I'll give you a couple of minutes. What's half the middle term? Subtract it off again. So we got R2. The first three terms are going to collapse into x plus half the middle term squared. There we go. Thank you, Jesse. So this becomes minus 36 plus 2. So I get x plus 6 all squared minus 34 equals 0. Okay? So just tell me what is the vertex of this? -6, -34, right, good. And if I want to work out the roots, all I have to do is basically solve for x, correct? So if I want to solve for x, what's the first thing I'm going to do? No. If I expand, I'm going to end up back where I started. Yep, take the -34 to the other side by adding 34 to both sides. So I get x plus 6 squared equals 34. And then square root everything. So I get x plus 6 equals. And what else do I have to make sure I put in here?
Plus and minus.
Plus and minus the square root of 34, because remember there's two answers. And then your last step is,
-6.
yeah, so x equals -6 plus and minus the square root of 34. Sorry? That's for finding the roots. So if I was to sketch this now, alright, so if I was to factorize this, I'm going to have, sorry, one sec. So -6 plus the square root of 34. Now, the square root of 34 is roughly what number? Yeah, but slightly less than 6, isn't it?
5.9.
Yeah, it's going to be less than 6. So listening, so -6 plus something that is slightly less than 6. Is that going to be positive or negative? It's going to be slightly negative, okay? And when I do -6 take away something that's negative, it's also going to be negative, okay? And then my vertex is going to be down here. This is badly drawn. Okay, and it's going to go something like that, okay? So my vertex is here. And then I've got my points, -6 plus the square root of 34. And this one is -6 minus the square root of 34. So it's just telling us, Jesse, where it crosses the x-axis, okay? All right, so it's just another way you can do it. You could use the quadratic formula, you'll get the same thing. You can't factorize this one, no. Okay. So it's actually easier than using the quadratic formula in some sense. Well, depending on how you look at it.